Dude, season fucking finale of Film Fights with Friends, and I'm Steven Koepfer.
I am Paul Varacchi, and we are going to be having with us today one of our good buddies who we have known from the beginning in our stunt career, Eric's son.
Yeah, man.
Who doubled Steven Yeun on the Rip.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited. First of all, the Rip just came out a couple of weeks ago, so it's really nice to get someone on the show and talk about something like hot and fresh. So this is definitely, I'm excited about this.
It's really cool. And this is the second time doubling Steven Yeun. He doubled him on Beef.
Mm-hmm.
And we get into some really good conversations about sort of his trajectory over the last 10 years and how his perspectives has changed and, you know.
And kind of a really good outside look for those listeners on what it's kind of like to get started in this business and where it can go in 10 years, because basically we have a decades-long story of start to now. And this is hopefully not even the middle of a story.
Oh, it's just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, for real, man.
So
awesome.
Yeah, that's great. This is a great episode.
It was so great to have him on for the season 2 finale. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But, hey, listen, we need to remind you guys that we are at the gym here doing a food drive.
Yes.
Yep. So if you would like to
Feed America food drive.
Yes. So we have the link in the show notes. If you want to help us with that, we would be eternally grateful. And so would all the people who benefit at the food kitchens that we are supporting through this food drive. So please consider it. I know. What are you touching my foot for, dude?
Because you're sexy.
No. Anyway, yeah, the link is in the show notes. We'd love for you to kick in if you are so inclined. It would be really great.
And
yeah,
if you don't feel like giving and you do feel like getting, we're giving something away.
Well, no, they got to give to get on this one.
Very true. You do. You have to give a little bit.
If you support our Patreon.
That's right.
And we appreciate our Patreon supporters so much
that we are doing a season 2 finale giveaway.
Yes, we are.
Raffle.
You want to? I'll hold it up to the camera, and you can describe what it is.
Very cool. So I was at a con. You guys know me. You know I love my collecting, and I know my con. And I went and I met Nut at one of the cons. He is the judo master on Peacemaker, an extremely nice person, and they were very nice enough to personalize a Funko Pop autograph that says Film Fights with Friends winner, because this is going to go to the raffle winner of our Patreon draw.
Yeah, so we have here in our Mission Impossible popcorn thing that we got at the Mission Impossible thing that we did, we have all the names of our supporting Patreon members. Showing it to the camera right now. All 15 of you. So your odds are pretty good. But we're going to pick a name. Here we go.
Let's see. Who do we got? And the winner is... Oh my God.
Evelyn Vaccaro. You.
And our past guest that we had on the show.
Holy cow.
Nice, Evelyn.
Cool.
So this is for you. I'm like, I can literally just run it over your house because we're basically neighbors.
No, but this is actually really awesome because she supports us so much.
So it's that, yeah. As it goes to they would have, no matter who it went to, it would have went to a good person. But when it's always someone we know and one of our buddies, that's great.
That's so cool. Well, congrats, Evelyn.
So Evelyn, because you live close and you're in the New York area, I will drop it off to you personally.
He'll do it begrudgingly because he wants to keep it.
I did. No, that's not true because I got 2 more.
Yes, that's true. Anyway,
you know me, I don't just get one.
So thank you, though, to all of the Patreon supporters. And if you want to be eligible for giveaways like this, then please support us.
That's right. And if you live in the New York area, just maybe I'll drop it off at your house and we can hang out.
Or you could get a restraining order.
I go for option number 2. I know myself.
Yeah, there you go. But so there's lots of cool stuff besides giveaways and early access to the episodes and all that.
Speaking of funny thing, restraining order. The other day, I went to a job interview to get some daytime work, help make some money, fill in the ducats.
Yeah.
And one of my best friends, so a guy I've known since I was probably in my early 20s, and we met because he caught me hitchhiking to work. He picked me up hitchhiking to work when I lived in Montana to a restaurant that he worked in, and I worked 54 miles away at another hotel. He picked me up hitchhiking. And we've basically been friends ever since. He's a chef. I'm a chef. And I just went in and interviewed with him. And, because he hooked me up and he was showing me around his new place. And it was really funny because he walks into the room of his team. And the first thing he says to them is like, I met this guy in 1998 hitchhiking. And I was just like, yeah. And I've been stalking him ever since. And they were all very young. Yeah. So they all just kind of were like, Are you
crazy?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And I just turned around and walked away.
Oh my God. So, stalking people aside, this episode we recorded about 2 months ago, right? Yeah. So, after we record this,
2 months ago today, not 2 months ago now.
2 months ago from when it was aired, from when we're airing this now in March, right? We recorded this in January, but we plan on rolling right into season 3 from season 2 without a break.
Yes,
that is the plan. So, but don't be surprised if there's like a week off. But right now the plan is to, by the time this airs, we should have an episode or two of season 3 already in the can.
And if you guys have anything you'd like to know about the industry, any questions you have, you don't necessarily have to come up with ideas on our episodes, but we would love to hear questions that you have, whether it be to a specific department or anything. Just let us know and we'll ask it for you, you know, and then, we'll read your question, and make sure you get noticed and, so you know what episode it's on.
Yeah, totally. You can message us on social media. You can email us at fightingwithfriendspod@gmail.com if you have a question you want us to, or a topic you want us to address on the show, or even a suggestion for a guest.
Or if you've listened to the whole season and you're like, hey, you guys had this guy on and I was wondering this, let us know. We'll reach out to them for you. We'll ask your question.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, man. Having said that, we need to thank our sponsors.
Ah, yes. Stunt Contact.
Stunt Contact, who's supported us from the beginning, season 1. And they're just awesome, dude.
They're the one-stop shop for what is happening in production. Yep. It doesn't matter. If you work in production, if you are interested in production, Stunt Contact is the place to go.
100%.
I don't know what else to say. It's not just...
Well, I know what else to say.
I mean, it's called Stunt Contact. It's not just Stunt Contact.
Let me tell you what else to say. That if they use the discount code FFWFPOD, they will get 25% off on a daily subscription or 15% off on a weekly.
That's good.
Film Fights with Friends Pod, FFWFPOD, all capitals.
That's right. So you actually get money off. No 10% fucking just your text bullshit.
No. This is like 25%. That's good. That's a legit
discount.
That's legit discount, dude. That's not bullshit.
No.
And I do not think you will regret it if you subscribe, because we do. And I'm constantly sending out emails.
And the greatest thing is that we also support ourselves. Breakfall Studios.
I mean, we sponsor our own show.
We do.
No, seriously, though, if you see this space behind us, you want to rent it, you want to do table reads here, auditions, previs shoots.
Train
actors, host a workshop, anything. Use it as a location. We've had lots of people shooting in here, using it as a location.
You had someone in here recently, a big actor training, and I'm just fucking dying to see the trailer, any hint of the movie, because
I know
I'm not telling you anything. I hope I'm baiting you along here.
Well, I'll tell you, I will say that we can't say who was training here or for what movie, but I will tell you that she was fucking wicked.
Oh, very nice. I like that.
You like that, right? I don't know, but it was great. It was
awesome.
It was great to be a fly on the wall there. But anyway, yeah, if you're interested in the space, hit us up for if you need to rent us for any purpose. We are here.
And if you can't do any of those things and you can't support us on Patreon, one thing you can do is you can join our mailing list.
Yes.
It is absolutely free, and you will be in the know with all things Film Fights with Friends coming up.
Yeah. It's fightingwithfriendspod@gmail.com. If you would give us a review on any of the places where you listen to us, Apple,
like, join, follow,
Amazon, IMDb, we really appreciate your reviews. It helps us get up on the algorithms it helps us become one of those referred or recommended shows. Like, like if you're watching another podcast or listening to another podcast and right underneath it says, hey, if you like this one, you might like that one. The more comments and reviews we get from you, the better the chance the different portals refer us to other listeners. And I think, is there anything else that we need to say before we bring in Eric?
No,
I think we're good. Let's bring in Eric's son and talk about The Rip.
Here we go.
Dude, Eric's son, I can't believe you're on the show.
Hi, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys. Excited to be here.
Yeah, totally. At least you have warmer weather, I'm sure, where you are. And we're 8 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's brick outside.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually in the East Coast, so I understand.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm in Jersey right now, my other home.
Oh, nice. I thought I felt the disturbance in the force.
So now you're next door.
Yeah, that's why if you see me shaking, it's because I'm not used to the cold anymore.
Oh my God. So, dude, The Rip. How awesome was that? That I mean, aside from so many people that we know being in it, a great movie.
It was definitely a fun ride for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice to see everyone enjoy the movie and speaking highly of it. When I got the opportunity, it was like a dream come true to shoot a movie like that in my home state of Jersey, and to see so many of the talented New York people come and play. And to be reunited with Steven, I saw him, and I haven't seen him since Beef. And
I was going to say you doubled him on Beef.
Yeah,
which is another amazing show. That show is insane.
Yeah, every time I see him, it's like a master class of performing. We talk a lot about what his character is, and I like to understand what his vision of acting is, so then I can translate it into the action.
I mean, for the people listening that may not be stunt performers or maybe in the industry, or they're just film fans, when you get a double job, Eric, as opposed to just like some other indie thing or something, when you get a specific job to double somebody, what's your sort of process, or like you mentioned, trying to really work with him to understand his vision of the character and stuff. So where do you start as a double for someone? Because you're essentially also playing the character.
Yeah. Well, my process now is the moment I meet my actor, I ask, hey, like, what are you thinking for this role? Like, what is this character to you? And for The Rip specifically, when I was talking to Steven, the first thing he said to me is like, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you are. Fucking A.
He was like, I don't want to be a bitch. Like, this character is not a bitch. So he was like, this is like an Asian cop in a Miami like task force, right? Like, the things he had to do to get here is not normal. Like, he had to work hard, he had to hustle, he had to crawl and scratch his way up. So just from there, we understood like this character is someone who he'll die before he loses, and if he's going to lose, he's going to die trying. So everything about this character when we were talking is like, this guy, he's hard. He's a hardcore. Like, he's not going to go out like a punk, and, he's not scared of anything.
That really translated well, especially in the scene when they were in the street and Matt Damon asked him if he was the rat. The way that scene went down, and the way he didn't back down, but also wasn't overly like, of course not, man. I'm not like, he just was like, fuck you. I'm not the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude, this is so not what I kind of expected his character to react in that. And it was just such a great twist to like make me like the character even more. Cause I was like, okay, so fuck, this guy's like, he's ready to fucking go toe to toe with these guys. I was like, that's interesting. Cause that normally they don't have that dynamic. Like right then and there.
Yeah, he was like, I don't care if I'm smaller or weaker. I will use everything I have to fight. So, you know, it's great to have actors like that who will tell you, because sometimes actors will do their own thing. They won't talk to you. But Steven is a really great guy. He'll like talk to me. We talk a lot when he's not doing anything. We talk about, you know, what he's thinking, what he wants. I'll try my best to advocate for him when we're back in, you know, designing and stuff.
I mean, it's different, right? Because you're with him on the long term for the run of this shoot, as opposed to like episodic, where maybe you're coming in, doubling somebody for one day, and then you're gone, right? So you have an opportunity to build that relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just lucky. You know, I worked with him on Beef, so he already knew me. We had somewhat of that relationship in Beef, and I saw how he worked. So, and I was the only double on this movie that did both New Jersey and LA unit, so I got to be with him the entire movie.
Yeah, I noticed looking through the credits that a lot of the other actors had multiple doubles.
Yeah.
I mean, I think right, didn't Grant, our friend Grant Koo, doubled him for a driving sequence on this?
Yes. Yeah, in Miami. The Miami unit.
Oh, okay, that was on the Miami unit. Yeah.
So also, you know, going a little more, I guess, in depth question on Steve's question is, when you take on doubling an actor, do you look at it, and of course we know this, I'm just asking more for the audience, is it your job to make him look awesome, or is it your job to look like the actor when you're doing a stunt scene and when you're doing a sequence? How do you go? What do you look for?
I always believe that it's my job to be the actor. I'm essentially his shadow. So everything he does, I have to do, right? If he moves one way, I can't move the way I want to move. You know, even though sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I would do this. It's like, no, if he's moving like this, like for the most part, I have to copy exactly what he does. Sometimes I even memorize the sides just in case, you know, they don't want to do, when they're not at his coverage, they partner up. Actually,
I've been in a few situations where I had to deliver the lines, you know?
Yeah. There was one day Aaron Armstrong, Ben's double on this movie. He was in the honey wagons memorizing the sides like all day, because they're like, when Ben leaves, you're going in and you're standing in for him.
Yeah, that happened to me on a show. I won't say who, but there was an actor who I was doubling on one of the procedurals here in New York, and he was very late to set, you know, and they were just like, all right, Steve, you're doing it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it happens.
And then what was funny is that, unlike normal, right? Like, because like, again, he's the bad guy of the week or whatever. And so there's no established movement and patterns, like you said. Like, I actually established the movements. So when he finally showed up to set, he had to learn how I did it. It was the opposite of me having to learn how he did it, because he was so late that I started the scenes without him. And then so he had to copy what I did, which is pretty crazy to be on the flip side.
I'll say one scene where I will, because I know it was you, was when you were walking on the ledge in Debs, and you walked just like Zach did.
Well, that was,
just like he did.
Well, that was similar to Eric's experience, because I had doubled Zach on other productions. I trained with him. I trained him for it. So we knew each other's. I knew his movements very, very well.
And you're old as fuck.
Well, that goes with it. Some of that was just natural old man walking. But back to thank you, by the way, to Johnny Yang for sharing the previs video with us. We'll draw some clips in the background, but holy cow.
What an awesome previs, dude.
Yeah. But it ties into what we're talking about and bringing the character into that fight. So how much, tell us that process, like how much Steven was involved in that, or when he became involved in that. And like you said, like trying to keep it within his skill set and what he is doing with this character.
Yeah. So that was on the very tail end of the movie. We shot that in LA on the stages. So by that point, I've worked most of the run with Steven and had a pretty good understanding of what his vision was for the character. The hard part actually for that fight was we couldn't make it look like we knew how to fight. It couldn't be clean. Joe was very adamant about like it has to be messy, it has to be gritty. He didn't like a lot of punches.
Joe Carnahan. For those listening, that's Joe Carnahan, the writer director.
Yeah. So we couldn't be technical in any aspect, and it was interesting because I was like, I have a grappling background. I was like, a lot of it was like on the ground for me, and I was like, there's so much wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
It was very technically untechnical.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, you guys did a great job of
I mean, it was gritty, brutal. I loved it. When I saw the previs, I was like, oh my God, this is right up our alley.
Yeah. Like, it was so good. And the moves were crisp. They were sharp. Like, and to sell both is not easy to do. And you guys sold both.
And no insult to anybody else in the movie, but it was not a Jason Bourne fight.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it was. I was actually lucky.
It didn't have those theater beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
So Keith Willard, the coordinator, and Johnny, they pulled a lot of references from like street fights and like those TMZ like YouTube clips. They spent a lot of time and effort researching what people do when they're just fucking brawling it out on the streets with no training. And so we pulled a lot of references from that. And I was lucky. I had 2 days to practice this fight. Jerry Quill, really great martial artist and stunt guy. He was the original fighter in the previs. And then Dan Mast, Matt Damon's double, came in and had 1 day to figure it out with me. So I had 2 days of practice of like figuring out the moves and how to like make it messy and hide technique within the messiness. But Dan came in. He's also a really tough guy. So, after that first day, we kind of got a feel for each other. And there were improv moments where we kind of just laid on each other and knew that the other person could handle it, which helped a lot.
Yeah, it was great. And then, for those of you out there, I mean, you'll get clips you won't see the whole previs. We'll drop in clips, but when you watch the whole thing unto itself, and I had mentioned this to you after you sent it, I was like, wow, this is better than the fight in the movie. Only because it's not chopped up. Like in the movie, they're cutting back and forth between the two fights.
You get a nice seamless fight. Which
is great because they were showing the parallels, right? But wow, when you watch the whole thing as one fight, it was just beautiful. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah. So that's how it is sometimes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Also, you've worked a lot of things. We've worked a lot of stuff, and you work with a lot of actors. But you're working with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, doing fights in close quarters places. Was there just a place at any time when you were just like, shit?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are movie stars. I grew up watching all their stuff,
but they're not. But they're like, there's movie like we've worked with stars, and Jeffrey on The Walking Dead or whatever. But then there's like the fucking elite.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to bash anybody else, but Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are fucking Hollywood elite.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be.
Well, that's how I felt when I got the first job on Wick, and I got the first work with Keanu. I was like, oh my God, this guy! I grew up watching this guy.
Yeah, no, this cast was stacked. We had Kyle Chandler, we had Ben, Matt, Teyana, who just won Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
We had everyone.
Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins.
Yeah,
Scott Adkins. So nice. Yeah, Scott Adkins was, it's a shame he didn't get the fight, but
no, actually, it's funny you say that.
Got a little scuffle.
He had the brother fight, but I mean, hopefully we're not giving too many spoilers away, but it's like he
Oh, and Steven Yeun, by the way, had the greatest fucking line in the whole movie, which is when he was making fun of him, and he's like, "You're a bully."
Yeah.
So good.
But I actually like that. This is sort of a tangent, but I really like that Scott Adkins is getting out there more. Like
less as Boyka.
Yeah, less. Let's just say it, less like B movie action fodder, but like into like legit acting roles that don't depend on his fighting ability at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was pretty psyched about that, but super nice cast. Everyone, when we first started in the garage for stunts, Ben, Matt came in. I think all the stunt people just like took a step back and like we're looking down, like we don't want to bother these people. And Matt just goes up to each and one of us and says hello. I was like, I never want to wash his hand again. You know, it was starstruck, but it was such a great cast to work with.
But that's awesome, dude. It was so cool. I mean, like, yeah, it was so cool to. I mean, we've known each other for, I guess, about 10 years now.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we have our first, you know, the gig I have talked about many a times. Akbar Anthony, you know, our basically first non-stunt gig.
Yeah,
we almost fucking got heat stroke and died on a fucking 106-degree roof.
That was painful, but such all great learning moments.
But I be honest with you, I had a fucking blast. But it was a mess, but I had fun.
It was so fun, like looking, like I was like, Paul, you have any pictures of with Eric? I'm like, I can't find any pictures. I'm like, and I was going through pictures. I finally found the picture of us when we were doing stair falls at the Astoria Park.
And he's got a great picture of me and you kicking him down the stairs.
Yeah, the picture of you guys kicking me down the stairs, and then the one of you kicking me down the stairs, the video of you kicking me down the stairs. But I was like, this fucker's elusive. He's like not getting, I don't have pictures. I don't, because we saw each other on Walking Dead. I didn't have a picture. Yeah. And then we worked on that movie that never came out together.
I was looking through all my photos like, where's Waldo?
The one that we shot out at Rollins Studios, remember? It was like, what the fuck is the name of it? Given Life.
Yes, that's that one.
We worked on that one together, and then I had no pictures of you, even in like the stunt team pictures. Like, I don't know how come you were not in it, but you were not in it. And so I was like, I texted Paul, like, I have no fucking pictures of Eric, but Paul found the one of you guys on Dead City.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why. I feel like I have a picture of Eric in black eye makeup.
We have a lot more video of us training over here at Breakfall back in the day.
Yeah.
But in terms of pictures, not so much.
And you and I know I have pictures of you and I at Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Comic-Con.
Yeah. Because you used to work. You used to work at Comic-Con.
Yeah, when I had to make money doing odd jobs. But yeah, you guys were like the first people I've met, like literally the first in New York. I think I remember sending an email to you guys like, hey, I'm new, I want to train. And you guys were like, come through, come learn. And you guys always invited me to stuff, which was great. It's been almost a decade now, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2016. Literally, some of those videos are back to 2016, 2017. But anyway, the original point was it's so cool to see people like all these years later where they are, like you. It's like freaking awesome, dude.
I've been blessed. I've made the joke for the longest time. I've only come this far because every other Asian is super talented and they're busier than I am. So I get the leftovers and it's turned out great for me.
Hey man, whatever works.
Whatever works. It's also great because not everybody goes to LA and has a success story. And has, and look, nobody's story is ever done. We're all very young, but it was watching all of the people that we've seen come through New York, leave New York, and go out to LA, and all of the unsuccess stories. It's so awesome to have, not only a success story, but like just a story of you succeeding, working, trying, and just growth. Mm-hmm. Not luck, not bullshit, but you putting in the work and the results showing, and then just following through. It's just awesome, man. Like we're both so happy for you.
Thanks, guys. I mean, I am lucky in a sense that I was gifted with a great community on both the East Coast and West Coast. From the beginning, I've always met like a lot of good people who gave me good advice, helped out. So I would say like everything I have has been built on community, right? We train together, we help out each other. Like on the East Coast, I remember when I first started, I had you guys teaching me like all the basics and involving me in like fun little days of like practice fights and whatnot.
Throwing Steve downstairs.
Yeah, throwing Steve downstairs.
No, but we did some cool practice fights, man.
Well, when we used to have the Breakfall,
the 3-hour challenge.
3-hour challenge, that was fun.
Yeah, and we did that little
the Magic Scooter Gang.
Yeah, he wasn't there for that, but we did Captive. We did this one Captive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good shot, I think, of him rifle butting you in the face.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, everyone has helped out so much in my career, and I've learned so much from different people. You know, I am just.
And now you're with the 8711 crew,
right?
I'm on my probationary period with them. I've been learning with them for about almost 2 years now. Jeremy and Chad have been great teachers and mentors. So yeah, like I said, I'm grateful. People give me opportunities and give me chances to learn, and I've always been the person who loves learning. So,
well, and we've said it before. Like, just my own personal experience with Chad is like he values the work ethic, obviously, and he also values, like in my case, the martial art background. He really appreciates like like all that kind of stuff, like he's no bullshit. So, and we've said it before. I hear people, bitching about XYZ and this. I'm like, this dude is like top level and still teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He makes time for it. People can feel however they feel about him as a person or a personality or whatever. But for me and many people I know, like he was definitely inspirational and a big part of where I am now, for sure. Just because of, if you show the work ethic for him, he will definitely show, he'll show the appreciation back, for sure.
Yeah. Every time he graces us with like a lesson, it's always the best because you learn so much within that one thing he teaches. But it's also like the carrot and the stick, right? I think I came in with no real background in stunts. I went to school for finance. This happened by luck.
Mm-hmm.
To be surrounded by so much talent is such a great motivator because, I might not reach the carrot, but just that chase alone drives me to be a little bit better the next day.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about that. You went to school for finance. Like, how did you end up,
dude? And in this
world?
Business, sometimes just getting a little nibble of that carrot is.
I mean, going to school for finance will definitely help you when you review your G and realize that the studios are fucking you left and right. But
yeah,
other than that, like, what brought you to this from that?
I think
I know this story.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I was studying for finals my junior year, and
that was like 3 years ago. What are you, 12?
12. I feel a baby. I'm the baby of New York. It's crazy. But I don't know. I was bored one day and I was Googling different things like how to become a cop, how to become a CIA agent. I was looking for something cool and exciting.
Young forever, by the way. I'm looking at him and I'm just getting more upset. I'm like, he hasn't aged a day.
Dude, it's like the Asian genes.
It's the Asian, man. By next year, I'll be old and wrinkly. Just watch.
I don't know if this sounds racist, but Asian people, they look young, but when they get old, it's like, bam.
It just hits.
Bam. Yeah.
Like, whereas me, I've just been gradually getting older. Like, if you put a time lapse,
as long as I fucking known you.
If you put a time lapse on my bathroom mirror, it would be disgusting. It would be like the scene at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when the fucking he just ages and dies.
Yo, I'm telling you, we got a picture of Steve on the wall from his fighting years at 155. If you just crop that from the shoulders up, he looks exactly the fucking same.
Without the turkey neck.
Dude, he looks exactly.
You haven't changed that much either, guys. You guys have been the exact same too.
Thanks, man.
But anyway, so you're Googling how to get into this, how to get into that. You gave up. You decided prostitution wasn't your thing, but stunts was.
Yeah, but stunts was. I found I happened upon an article
that's sad because if I pay for it, man.
Hey man, if OnlyFans existed during my time, I probably would have had a different career path. Yeah, Manny Severio had a website back then. I don't know if he's still up, but he has something called How to Become a Stuntman.
Right?
Yeah. And it was intriguing. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I was like, what is a stuntman? And I don't know. I was like, I have nothing to lose. And so I dropped out of college and I did a live show in Maryland. A couple of New York stunt people.
You had nothing to lose, but you immediately lost something.
Yeah. Lost.
What live show did you do? Six Flags or what?
The Six Flags live show.
Yeah.
I did that. That's where I got some experience, and then yeah, I came back to New York, met you guys, and then the rest is history.
Wow, so we've really been there from the very beginning. That's you amazing, dude.
You were literally the first people I met after I quit Six Flags.
But we were sort of at the beginning too. I mean, I only got into SAG in 2016.
We were all just starting.
Yeah. We all been traveling together. I was telling Paul, like, looking for the pictures. It was great to look back at all those old pictures and see who's come through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what you were saying, like people that ended up not working in the business. So many people that ended up just going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe through no fault of their own, but it's just, and then the ones who did, you know,
like like when we worked on Akbar Anthony, I'll never forget the day. Remember when how many BG guys did they have for that scene? Like 20?
So many
BG guys, and they wanted to do this whole thing, and then like they were all nodding, and then I just looked at all of them, and I'm like, okay, guys, I was like, I'm just gonna say this once. I'm like, if you guys get hurt, I'm like, they're not covering you. I was like, you're going to the hospital. I was like, if you can't I forgot what it was I said, but I'm like, if you can't just get up right now and fall on your back and not hit your head without thinking about it whatsoever, I was like, don't say yes to them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And then out of the 20, we were left with what? 5 of us?
5
after that?
I think less and less people showed up to each day.
Like 15 guys just put their hands down. We're like, okay, I can't do anything you just said.
And it's great. Like all you guys just getting recycled.
It was so much fun.
Yeah. And then you had that little fall gag onto like beds they wanted you to do.
Oh my God, the 2 mattresses. Yep.
Yeah. I tell that story to a lot of people. I was like, dude, Indian movies? Crazy.
Here's a funny story that you don't know, but Paul definitely knows this. I worked on a movie like 2 years ago on this short film, like a 45-minute. It was a 45-minute one take. It's actually really pretty awesome experience. It never came out also, but the experience of planning it was good. And there was an Indian actor in it. And I was telling him about
it. That's right.
And he knew, he was like, oh, that movie? That was like the worst movie ever.
He's like, it ruined people's careers.
He goes, that movie ruined people's careers. And then he knew, because remember we did our funny little riff tracks on it. We did
on that roof scene, and like, how many times do you see me get recycled?
We did a Mystery Science Theater 2000 type thing,
and I was laughing because they wouldn't put a mask on my face, and I was like, "It's my nose and my hair that are going to give me away, guys." I was like, cover that shit up.
But like, he knew about that video. Oh my God, it was just so funny.
So funny.
It was so funny.
I took my parents to see that. We found one theater in Hoboken that played the movie, and my parents were so.
By the way, it's 3 hours long of absolute insane. Yeah. Nonsensical. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, the movie is pretty much hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like the next, like, Triple R.
Well, to be fair, like, that actor also just showed up and was like, all right, we're doing this. Yeah. He didn't really rehearse with us ever.
The guy who had people putting his shoes on?
Yeah.
Let's not forget that. He had people putting on his shoes and socks. So about as good as someone like that can be.
You mean he had them putting them on him?
Yes.
Like dressing him?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
like those stories you hear of, like how like Deborah Messing on whatever that TV show she was, she had like someone who put her shoes on her. Right. This guy, I saw that. That's not bullshit.
That's crazy.
Like putting his socks on his fucking feet.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was like putting his shoe up like a child. Putting his foot up.
Pretty nuts, dude. So,
and then of course they had me double. And then of course they had me double the guy who was like 6 inches. Like, I have a picture next to the guy that I doubled.
Oh yeah,
and it's like he's like 6 inches taller than I am. It's hilarious.
So, anyways, you are now all 10 years later. You know.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna. But did the stunt coordinator ever call you? By the way, that's also the day that the stunt coordinator didn't show up. He didn't come to set ever.
Yeah,
never. And then we found out he was in LA.
No, we've seen that guy soliciting for jobs here and there.
He called me and asked me if I wanted to go to Dubai and be his assistant, and I said no.
Oh, that's great. I've still never met this guy.
Yeah,
never met him.
I met him because he came to Breakfall once. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
He came to train here once. This is before that movie, and then a few times here and there he'll put up a post in some of the stunt groups or whatever, like looking for this or that, and we'll see people replying, and we just private message him like, dude, stay away from that guy.
We're not going to say his name, but if you do the math, you can figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. But anyway, so what's the feedback for you been like on the rip from just the community and just people seeing the movie and knowing that you're Steven Yeun's double?
Very positive. I'm very grateful for all the kindness and support I've received from people. But they also have that bonus for the crew, which is really cool. So I think
I was going to say, did you guys make it? Because I didn't know if it just went by like per household, but I'm not joking. I made sure that my entire weekend when I was cooking, when I was doing everything for my family, I had the fucking rip on repeat, dude. Yeah, I just watched it over and over and over and over again because I was like, fuck that, man. I'm helping any way I can. I was like, if this helps, I was like, more watches, more views.
Just a precursor, you're not speaking for anybody other than yourself, but what is the deal with that bonus? Because I was like, okay, so you already get residuals XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
So is this, you get stuff on top of that, or is this more for the crew and the people who don't usually get stuff on the back end?
I believe this is for everyone. This is my first, I only heard about this too once they started promoting the movie and they had that article. But from what I've understood from other people, they've tried this in the past on another project. I don't think that project hit what they needed for that, but artist equities, they were created for the crew and the cast and to be better for the performers on the below the line. So I think they tried this again with Netflix, which is why they partner with them. And I believe it's 90 days. So we're now on the third week. So we still have a bit to go to see how it goes. Yeah. But, they hit, I think, 80 million views in 2 weeks. So they're doing good.
I feel like it feels
you were number one for 2 weeks in a row, which is pretty huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I didn't read anything or I haven't read the agreement or anything, but it sounded like the streaming bonus that we negotiated, for the first 90 days of streamers, where the SAG-AFTRA folks will get a bonus if it's in that, whatever that top number is, I forget what it is, like whatever percentage of views for the first 90 days. If you hit that level, we get the bonus.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's also what was something like that was negotiated in the video game contract. That I know that in the game, and I believe you and I have worked on this one, right?
I haven't done any video games.
Have I seen you down at the studio? No,
not for video games.
Oh, okay. But yeah, basically we get a big chunk on the back end after the game is done.
Yeah.
But no residuals from the game, Oh,
I mean, I feel you though, Eric, because I was Jonathan Banks' double on The Beast in Me and Netflix. So like every fucking day, I'm like, "Are you still in the top 10? Are you still in the top 10? Are you still in the top 10?" Because I want to make that 90-day, that 90-day bonus.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. They haven't given up too much details beyond that this is a thing. So
right.
Do you know what the numbers are that you have to reach?
I do not. It was not shared.
I doubt that Netflix would even share that because it would be like...
Then everybody would just be going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only people who know are Netflix and Artist Equity.
Yeah. It's still great that they did that though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we get stuff on the back end anyway, but it's really great that it applies to the crew.
Yeah. And this crew is great. They work hard.
The revolutionary part.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And they deserve it because Nothing without them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nothing. Zero, zip, zilch, nada, nothing.
No, it's kind of bullshit, right?
You have guys like me with a bunch of fucking ideas.
I mean, seriously, it is kind of bullshit. Take a show, not a movie, but take a show. Like we'll show up, we'll do like an episode or two, and then we're gone. And then you've got like the gaffer or the grip who's been there the entire run of a show and doesn't get anything on the back end at all.
Yeah,
that's completely ridiculous.
it's totally ridiculous. Crazy, man. So what do you got going on next? Anything on the horizon that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I'm in New York right now for a new show. Just day playing here and there. I'm back to the trenches, just earning whatever I can.
Sure.
But my focus, in the meantime, is just to keep practicing and, improving what I can.
How long you been here?
3 days now.
Okay. I was going to bitch at you for not coming by.
So
3 days, I guess we could let you slide.
Yeah.
So as you start, when you started, obviously everything was your training and everything was geared towards stunts. And as you start getting more screen time, you start working with actors more, you start doubling more, you start having more things to do. Are you starting to branch your training out into acting, or are you just sticking with the physical stuff?
Just to follow up on that question, part B, that it kind of ties into it because you and I are like this.
Right, it happens. I
was thinking about how your training has evolved over the years, right? From the beginning, like what you thought was important to now what you think is important. Because when you say you keep training, I'm curious what that means now as opposed to what it meant, like, say, 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to, because doubling, I think, has been the most of my career. I don't think I'll ever pivot to acting, but I think I've been lucky that I've worked with some very talented Asian actors, and just shadowing them is like a masterclass of acting on its own. Like when I was with Steven, watching him act and seeing how he does his scenes was like its own acting class on Rip. Our conversations was like its own acting class. I had like an acting coach. But as far as my current training, it's still kind of the same. It's more structured. When I was younger, I kind of just try to grab onto every little thing that I could. Now that, as I know I'm still the baby over here, but I am getting older. So it's more about like keeping my body healthy. I don't train Rex as much, but I definitely try to focus more like specialty skills. Like I've been practicing a lot of swords. Yeah. I've been practicing more on learning different types of weapons and martial arts, and a lot of shooting now. I've been watching a lot of different projects, seeing different ways people shoot and studying the Koreans, the Japanese, So it feels like I'm back in college, where now I left the physical stuff and I'm back to the technical and the knowledge, and just growing my library in a sense.
Yeah, I feel you.
Have you, it's so funny you mentioned like Asian shooting styles or whatever, but I don't know what they use, but back in the day, their police used to use a P89, which has the trigger release which has the mag release, on the trigger guard.
I'm just laughing because I know he's talking about shooting film, and your fucking brain automatically goes to guns.
Yeah. No, but because you were talking about shooting, so yeah, I immediately thought about guns, and I was like, well, I got to get this question out because you're like Asian shooting styles. But so yeah, you're talking shooting like film.
Yeah,
right.
Film.
Yeah. So I was immediately thinking like training in guns. Yeah, that's where my brain goes.
You're such a gun nerd, man.
I can't help it.
You said that question, I was like,
no, shooting. No, not shooting, you idiot.
But dude, I can relate. Like even when I was going back to find old videos of us trained together, and I was like, I'm not going down concrete stairs for free anymore.
Oh my Lord, the shit that we used to do training wise, I was like, I'll never do that shit again. Been like, hey, you want to have a stair fall day? No.
Not anymore.
I will shoot it, but I won't do the fall. Fuck that. Like now it's like, you got to pay me.
Yep.
Like, and like people will send me all these videos on Instagram of like, these aspiring stunt people doing like tricking and landing on a fucking concrete wall or some crazy shit. And I'm just like, yeah, no more.
Yeah.
I remember when we did the you weren't there for this one, Eric, but when we did the Magic Scooter Gang, and I did the back 3/4 on the stairs.
Oh yeah.
Like I would never do that again. No, for free. No fucking.
And I went down all those stairs.
Yeah, you went down
at the end of that. I was like, no, never again.
I was like, I could do a back 3/4 running up the stairs and then do a back 3/4 on the stairs.
Have to take an uppercut.
Yeah. I was just like, at a certain point, you're like, okay, now I know I can do that. Like I'm almost 60. I'm not doing that shit no more.
But I do feel you regarding shifting the training to being more technically oriented, like to expand that toolbox, you know?
Yeah. Well, when you first start and you're young, I think the role is to be a good soldier and, just do what you're told and try to help out however you can. Now I'm finding that people have questions. So I think as someone who's more experienced now, it's also like my job to help out people on set, like the younger kids, with whatever advice. And I can only give them advice if I understand what I'm talking about, right? Sure. So it's not just about being able to do things, it's about understanding why we do things or how we do it and how to make it safe, or like what will help them in their, in their gag.
Well, it's also like when we do the stair falls and we train or whatever, there are certain things that like once you kind of learn how to do, there's really no other way to do it. Stair falls, there's kind of a right way and then the way you get hurt. Mm-hmm. It's very, just like car hits. There's a way to get hit by cars, and then there's a way to fucking just get hit by a car and get hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like there, like we were saying, we'll never train that again, but also kind of don't need to when you're like, okay, we know how to fall. Now we just have to figure out how we fall downstairs. And be like, oh, this is how we fall downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are other things, like when you train for fighting, when you train for where you have to keep that going all the time, because if your basics go away, then you're done.
Yeah.
But basics to stair, you can't do your basic stair falls every week.
So you're focusing on, so with your focus on shooting, I'm assuming that comes along with editing.
Yes, I think I enjoy editing more than I enjoy shooting. I find myself better on the post side than.
When you say editing, you mean the spacing between your shots, or?
Well, just
he's just trying to come up with a gun metaphor for editing. But I can relate. I enjoy the editing cave, where you go down that rabbit hole and just get lost in frame fucking things and seeing exactly how well you can cut it.
When you're shooting, right, do you ever have a vision of how you see the scene in your head and then you kind of get stuck in the way you want to shoot it and you forget about all your other shots?
No, I think for me it's I have a vision and I'm just not good enough to execute that vision on camera.
Right.
Sometimes I get really ambitious just because of who I've learned from, and I'm like, I want to shoot this way, and then I'm like, well, I'm just not good at X, Y, and Z yet to execute it the way I want. So right now I've been focusing on figuring out what works for me on camera, what I like. But I always like going in with a vision of like how I imagine the scene plays out. Right. And it's just a matter of seeing if I can actually do it with camera.
Have you done you should do some shot for shot remakes, man.
I've been told to do shot for shot remakes. I want to do that at some point. Right now at the gym, there's a few of us who have agreed to do like a round robin style shooting. So I shot before I left for New York, and hopefully when we get back, someone else will shoot, and then I'll perform, and then we'll just go back and forth, and we'll just keep making stuff and keep growing. Do that.
Like somebody shoots one week, you rotate the shooting, editing, and performing roles, and everybody can.
So when you approach a scene, do you have do you kind of roll into every scene the same way, or is it been like, hey, they're not moving, they're sitting at a table, they're talking, and then you have an action? Do you go into each scene with a bit of a different mindset, or you kind of have like a ground, like a 1, 2, 3 that you always go through?
I don't know if I have like something like that, but I always base my vision off music.
Me too.
So when I find a song that I really like one day, I'm probably listening to it like 100 times a day while I'm driving. Just imagining. I send him songs
all the time. I'm like, dude, this song for this scene in our short. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm just imagining a scene play out to that song, and then I'll try it. But I always give myself rules when I shoot. Right? I give myself like, I'm going to shoot this as if I'm shooting for TV. I'm shooting as if I'm shooting for a movie. Because they're very different styles. Yeah. And then I'll give myself like I have an hour to shoot this. I have only 3 takes per shot. Like I give myself limitations because I don't want to spend all day shooting one practice fight. So that's how I kind of approach my practice with shooting right now.
That's a good distinction because we've talked about it on the show with other people, how the generic term fighting for film is kind of misleading because there is fighting for television and fighting for film. Like,
yeah.
And it's two very different things. And maybe you can tell me your opinion, but like when you're doing a fight scene for TV as a performer, you kind of got to know your shit. Like you have very little rehearsrsal time. You got to know your shit.
Any.
You got to just show up and be able to see the choreo previs once and just fucking do it. Whereas like, you know, on a movie, you might have more rehearsal time, more time to dial it in, you know?
And I'm dyslexic and I'm super like doot. So seeing something once and having to repeat it is very, very hard for me. So that's like the people I get jealous of the most to come into stunts, dancers.
Dancers.
They remember choreo so well. Yeah.
Not a dancer here, but I've been lucky where I'm really good at memorization. That's like the one thing I've always had. But yeah, you're right. With TV, you're lucky if you get a rehearsal. If it's not like a stunt intensive show, like a procedural, you'll get like, you come in, you come up with something. You're like, well, we have an hour to shoot this.
It just might be a pre-call that day. You're just going to come in early, work it out, and then get ready to go. You know,
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, like I just did a fight for 911 back in LA with a stunt girl, Zanette. We had only 2 takes to shoot the fight in a oneer. And, you know, they were like, all right, you guys rehearsed? Good. All right, let's go do it. And we're like, here we go. After the first one, they gave quick notes and then they're like back to it. And I remember Z was like, I don't remember. I think I'm blacking out. And I was like, dude, just start hitting me. If you forget shit, just hit me.
Just do something.
And we'll find our way back. Just don't stop. And it looked great. But yeah, they don't give you a lot of prep and they work fast, right? TV works fast because they have less time and, you know, tighter schedules.
My first time, my only time, I cover coordinated on The Good Fight because it was a Krav Maga scene and it was in a classroom. It was like literally what I fucking do in life. But I had the sides and I had everything, you know, to come up with this scene. And I had to base the entire thing around them having their first kiss and training in the gym. So I had like a week or so to come up with it, but no time to work with anybody. So then, you know, you got to show up on the set and then, you know, it's not only being like, okay, this is my vision of the fight. You have to have your contingencies for the actor and the actress can't do this and they can't do this and they don't feel comfortable doing this. Okay. You have got you have got to have your checks and balances all ready to go to when something doesn't work, you have something in the pipe because you don't even have the time to think about, you know, how to fix it. You have to have it.
Especially in that case where you're working, where the actors are doing it and there are no stunt people doing it. So you really have no idea what they can do.
And I was grateful at the time that I was also working every single day on set doing COVID stuff, but really, really in Video Village, learning how to shoot and learning all stuff from Tutman, working with behind Tut, who we had on the show. And
just for the listeners, check that out. Season 1, David Tutman.
Great episode, guys.
Amazing episode.
So I'm watching how he shoots and I'm watching his terms and I'm learning things that you do and you don't do when you're trying to shoot a fight. And, you know, the greatest thing was when the camera guy comes in and he goes, okay, what are you doing? He's like, where do I need to be? And I was like, well, and I like shot everything on the line on the 180 and I'm like, you don't have to move anywhere. I go, every time they move, they completely move around. So the camera's exactly where it needs to be. I moved for the camera and this guy was like, fuck, dude, you're awesome. Like, okay, great. And then the director was like, I want you next to me when we're shooting. But the only reason I was able to is because I thought of every possible thing that could go wrong and how to adjust the fight already before I got in there. Because there's no time.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the most nerve-wracking thing was been like, am I going to be able to be competent enough to make changes on the day and make it seem like I know what I'm doing?
So this kind of is a nice segue. Here we go. You ready? And it combines coordinating fights and people who have passed through these doors. I just want to throw out one shout out before you move on. AJ Parator was the double of the lead that day.
And dude, if it wasn't for you, I would have been a fucking nervous wreck. And he kept me calm and he supported me. And you're the fucking best, bro.
And AJ did work on the rip too.
So you're the best.
Yeah.
That's why it came to mind. I'm like, you're the fucking man, dude.
But here's my transition: coordinating fights, people who come through these doors. We just had on the show 2 weeks ago. I don't know if it's 2 weeks in terms of like if you're listening to this,
showtime.
If you're listening to this now in March, like. So we interviewed Garrett Schulte, who you coordinated on Elkhorn.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
yeah. So talk to us about that. Like, talk to us about stepping into the coordinator role for a minute.
That it was interesting because Elkhorn was my first opportunity right after Beef. With all new shows and I think new coordinators, you don't have a lot of resources because you have to prove yourself that you deserve the resources. So I was lucky that I had very good friends who came out to help me, but Elkhorn was interesting because it's a period piece, right?
Right.
So
for those listening, it's like young Theodore Roosevelt Western, and it's on Prime now, so you can check it out.
Yeah. It's interesting because one, no doubles. All the actors killed it. They did everything themselves. There were very few instances where they allowed us to bring in a double because of budgets. But all the actors were great. They were ready to do their fights. And the hard part was trying to make cowboy style interesting, right? When you're doing like a show, at some point, just throwing a cross or a punch just gets boring, and you want to find different ways to make it different.
You don't want to do John Wayne fights over and over and
right?
over.
Everybody,
everyone
they
does
put their
this.
dukes up. Yeah.
And this was they were like, they emphasized the historics rather than like the fancy stuff. So we did stay grounded in, like, I had to go back and I was like, I watched like Davy Crockett, I watched all these like old cowboy westerns. I was like, how did they fight back then? And I was like,
a lot of cross blocking with rifles.
A lot. So it was interesting because that I did everything myself. I had designed the fights. I had to figure out the shots by myself.
It's funny, the period you're talking about in the time, I immediately went into, of course, Desperado, but the fight in the kind of in the opening in the corral. It was like reminded me of a very modern version of a Western fight, just because of the way it was shot and the way it looked, and the way you're describing it, I was like, kind of brought me to that modern vision of shooting with a little different style of fighting.
Yeah. So it was a fun show to be a part of. I think season 2 just finished, but I learned a lot on that show for sure. And Garrett's great. I love Garrett.
So what was
Garrett's awesome. Did you see his movie?
I saw a trailer. I haven't seen his movie yet.
We had him on. We just interviewed him a couple weeks ago about that.
So when you got this job, and your first coordinating gig, was it weird when you had your first question and you realized that you're the guy that you have to go to?
Yeah, it hit me. I was like, oh, I'm in charge now. Fuck.
Dude, that can be a frightening moment, man. Because when I coordinated my first feature and we wrapped literally days before the strike, and there were a couple of moments where I wished I had somebody above me. Mm-hmm. There were definitely a couple of moments where I was like, I wish I had somebody I could just be like, hey, but no, it's you. You have to make the call or the decision or whatever.
I think what's scary the most is just talking with the other department heads when you start out. It's just asking.
They're all judging you.
Yeah. Especially like everyone on that show, they were a lot older and they've been doing it for a while. Mm-hmm. So, to go to like art and be like, hey, I need this, to go to like costumes, I was like, hey, we need this for the actors. It took a little bit for me to be like, okay, this is normal. Like I can just talk to them and tell them what I need. But I was scared because you're like, it's like the kid in school, right? You're like, I don't want to raise my hand.
And how often was your phone blowing up? Because I remember when I started coordinating this movie, it's like, dude, like I'm out to dinner and I'm like speaking art department. Like we had to fabricate prop knives that were,
molded off of Scott Glenn's actual knives and like all this kind of stuff. And I need the hairlines of your doubles. HMU is hitting you up. Everybody's hitting you up at any time. Like there was no convention,
Yeah, I understand why some people say don't get into coordinating early, or wait as long as you can, because you lose a lot of your life. Like you're answering emails and texts at all times. Weekends aren't days off anymore. Weekends are for emergencies. Right. Yep. So I understand.
Yeah, but and even budgeting. I remember like budgeting for the film and just all that stuff is like learned on the job. It's like in adapting, looking at the one-liners every day. Like, oh, you cut that scene. You didn't tell me you cut that scene. Well, that's going to affect the budget. So now the budget is this, and it's not that. So I can shift some money from that you just cut, that you didn't tell me you just cut, over to this, which you didn't cut. Yeah. I mean, I was literally sending new budgets to the line producer like almost every day based on the one-liners I was getting every day.
Budgeting actually is the one thing I don't mind. One, because the Asians are good at math, but this is where my finance this is where my finance education came in handy. So that was the one thing I didn't mind that much.
That's cool. But it definitely is a lot when you, like you said. I was glad for that film because it wasn't a stunt heavy film. So it was just a few scenes, and then again we had doubles set for the main the main three, like number 1, 2, and 3. But then when we relocated to Nashville, that changed the budget, and so we lost the doubles. So we had to redesign the fights. We had to kind of dumb down all the fight scenes and the action sequences, so now the actors could do it themselves.
Was there times when you were like, guys, this is a modern way of holding your hands? Like you have to hold your hands like a little bit differently. Like this is kind of now, no one's gonna do the,
yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, no, you gotta.
The one nice thing, I think everyone came into that show, I think they all did their homework. So all of them were really good about taking away modern habits. And then the producers, we would have a lot of conversations about like, they want this style of fighting. And then I was like, are you sure that's this time period? I don't think that existed yet. And they're like, oh, okay. Then, we trust you. And
like in a weird way, they're like, oh, why doesn't he kick him? And you're like, yeah, you really only kick people when they were on the ground, and it was usually a boot stomp.
Yeah.
There was never a roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
In the Old West.
Yeah. No kicks. Very, very rare we do kicks. A lot of manhandling and grabbing. Mm-hmm. I think there was like one boxing thing we did on the show, and we designed the fight, we practiced it, and then the producer was like, can they wrestle more? I was like, I mean, I wouldn't mind, but are you sure that wrestling wasn't legal in this type of fighting, and it's kind of more like sport boxing when it first established? And she was like, oh, okay. So a lot of homework. It was a lot of studying.
They have that kind of,
I mean, wrestling.
They have that clench work.
Wrestling was very popular back then, but boxing and wrestling were separate.
Right.
Yeah.
You could totally do a wrestling match back then because it was hugely popular.
Well, even then, I think that there was no mixed martial arts mentality. At least here.
Well, not only that,
right? So it was their brains were hands
at that time
or body wrestling. You know what I mean? But it never went to like both, everything together.
Yeah.
At that time, like when carnival wrestling and catch wrestling was actually a thing, they would actually talk down to the people that used submissions and did all that kind of stuff. That was considered dirty fighting, right?
Yeah.
Like if you go back and read all old newspaper articles and stuff,
and stood you up, and you were
move. They were such racists. Like if you read the old old newspaper reports of what were legitimate wrestling matches that were won by submission by, say, Japanese judoka that immigrated here, they were the most racist articles about the dirty Asians using submissions to win a fight when it's not manly kind of stuff,
Whatever. Yeah. That shit was just awesome. When you see when you just see someone not even out muscle someone with muscle, just out technique and just understand how the body works.
Yeah.
Or just become stronger because they know how to use their body better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, but to Eric's point, like you wouldn't put that in a pugilistic environment from that period.
There was the one good movie of where and it's an old school movie, Tom Cruise movie, but Far and Away was a great movie of where they really, really stuck to the way that they fought in, and then when they brought in somebody different, like they're bringing in the goddamn Italian, and the guy fought differently, but he still kind of fought the same. He was just a bigger dude, but it was that same good, just stand up brawling. And they had those scenes where it was close and it was wrestling, but it was more like just kind of two guys standing up, like hugging each other and throwing each other around and looking for the cheap shot the crowd couldn't see.
Yeah, the dirty boxing. Yeah. Dirty boxing is different than wrestling. It's but dude, man, it's so cool to see your journey, man. It's been awesome. And
even more excited to watch it continue.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys. It's been a blessed career. I think I'm lucky though. Jason Ng was gone for such a long time that I think people thought I was him. I had one coordinator call me. I had one coordinator call me once. He was like, "You're hired." He calls me back like not even a minute later. He was like, "Shit, do you know how to ride a bike?" And I was like, "Nope." He's like, "Oh fuck, I thought you were one of the Ng brothers. All right, we'll figure it out. Bye." And I was like,
"That's so funny."
So I'm like,
oh my
the
God.
third
saw your
Ng
picture
brother.
And called you, didn't even look at your name.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thank you, Jason.
I was gonna say you could be mistaken for worse people.
Sometimes in this business, it's all about the face.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're so glad to have you on for our season 2 finale. This was awesome.
This was a blast, dude.
Yeah, it was great.
I know it's been such an honor to join you guys on Fight with Friends, especially the finale. Hopefully everyone enjoys this.
Yeah. Oh no, they will. They will
for sure.
And I think that's it.
That's it.
Call it a wrap.
We out. Peace, brother.
Later.
Film Fights with Friends is produced by Steven Koepfer, Paul Varacchi, Press Record Studios, and Breakfall Studios. This episode was engineered by Matthew Kaplowitz. This show is powered by our supporters at Patreon and is a registered trademark of Film Fights with Friends LLC. Original theme by Ahrue Luster.